For this course, I recommend having a couple materials on hand that will help you to get comfortable with using watercolors. And some of these are really going to be required in order to follow along with the lessons to their fullest extent. So the first thing that I recommend is getting some kind of brush. And I'm going to be using a water brush throughout this course instead of a traditional brush, and I'll explain why in the next video. But if you want to pick up a water brush, I recommend the Pentel Ogwash or Vistage, same product but two different names, large fine point water brush, and this is going to be sort of our main tool that we're going to be using throughout the lesson. All right. The other thing that you're going to want to have is obviously some kind of set of watercolors or a watercolor palette. So this is my personal palette that I use while I'm painting. And you can see that I have a bunch of different colors here. So I had to buy each individual tube of paint and squirt it into these holders. And I made sort of my own custom palette. For a beginner, I recommend something a little bit simpler. So this Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolor set is a great option. It comes with 24 colors and it's under $50. And in a future lesson, I'm going to walk you through how you can buy one of these yourself and customize it so that it works best for the purposes of using in the field and using to paint birds and wildlife. All right, so you're going to want to have some kind of watercolor palette on hand. All right. I also recommend getting some kind of a rag, such as a paper towel or even an old sock, and this is going to let you wipe off the dirty paint from your brush and clean the brush off so that you can go back and get another color. All right, so it's essential to have something to clean your brush off in order to switch colors when you're actually painting. For a surface to paint on, you can buy something that has sort of a thicker weight to it. So you don't want regular printer paper because it's going to be way too thin for watercolor. When you put something with water on a page, it's going to buckle. All right. So I recommend getting a weight of paper that is 100 pounds or greater. So for instance, this particular paper is thicker than something like this, which is regular printer paper. All right. So the printer paper is going to buckle very easily, and your page is going to be all wobbly, and when you paint on it, it's going to get sort of messed up. This is going to buckle less, and it's going to be a little bit more resistant to putting heavy washes on the page and lots of water. All right. And the other thing about your paper that I recommend is making sure that it has sort of I don't know if this shows up on camera, but sort of a textured surface rather than completely smooth. So there's two different kinds of paper that artists talk about. There's cold press, which is the more textured surface, and then hot press is perfectly smooth and free of any little indentations in the paper surface. So I found that watercolors tend to show up a little bit better on cold press paper, and for whatever reason they look a little bit better on textured paper than on smooth paper. So try and see if you can find paper that's greater than 100 pounds. So something sort of in this thickness that's like thicker cardstock, and also see if you can find paper that has a little bit of texture to it. Something like a Canson or Strathmore mixed media sketch pad or watercolor sketch pad is a great option if you're looking for sort of a bulk source of watercolor paper. We are going to be working with a printable bird drawing that I made for you to practice your watercolor sketching on. So see if you can find something that has the appropriate thickness and texture but still fits in your printer. And with that, let's get started learning how to paint with watercolors.